Santa and Me Just Don't Get Along. Written and read by Shan McFadden. Well, the fact of the matter is that Santa and me just don't get along. Now hold on, I know what you're saying. You're saying, how can you not like Santa? He's Father Christmas. He's jolly and he brings presents to children. He has a magical sleigh that travels all over the entire world in one night. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, I get it. But there's something about Santa that you don't know. Santa holds grudges. So before you say that everything is my fault, let me tell you how it all started. See, when I was 6 years old, I sent Santa a letter that read like this. Dear Santa, my name is Jimmy and I'm a very good boy. Can you please give me a puppy for Christmas? I will love it and walk it and feed it and train it to bite people that I don't like. From Jimmy. P.S. Forget that part about the biting. I was only joking. Well, Christmas came and went and I got lots of cool stuff, but no puppy. So the next year I wrote Santa another letter and it went like this. Dear Santa, you forgot to bring me my puppy last year. What's up with that? I told you I was only joking about the biting. Please make sure you bring him this year. Don't forget. From Jimmy. And that Christmas came and went. And while there were presents under my tree, there was still no puppy. So the next year I tried a different tactic. I sent Santa a letter that went like this. Dear Santa, this is Jimmy's mother writing to you, not Jimmy. Jimmy didn't have time to write this letter because he is so busy being good. He's spending all of his time shoveling sidewalks for free and carrying old people's groceries for free and building houses for poor people. He did that last part for free too. He absolutely did not ever pull his sister's hair, not even once, especially not 3 times like she said he did. Please bring him a puppy. He won't train it to bite people. He told you he was only joking about that. From Jimmy's mother. Well, a week before Christmas, a letter arrived in my mailbox, and you won't believe who it was from. Well, maybe you will. It was from Santa Claus himself, and here's what it said.
Dear Jimmy and Jimmy's mother, Merry Christmas to you. I'm sorry that I haven't been able to bring you a puppy, but as you know, Jimmy's little sister is allergic to dogs. Having a puppy in the house would make her sick. But I'll be sure to bring Jimmy some nice presents this year so he can still have a very Merry Christmas. Ho, 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 from Santa Claus.
Well, I was pretty mad to hear that I wasn't going to be getting a puppy, and here's where I made my mistake. Instead of thinking rationally and taking time to cool down before I acted, I very quickly wrote one more letter and mailed it off right away. And that letter said, Santa, it's not fair that I can't have a puppy just because of my dumb old sister. So this year for Christmas, I want another house where my sister can live all by herself, far away from where I live with my parents, and with the new puppy that you still owe me. Get it right this year or there will be problems. Signed, Jimmy. And right when I mailed that letter, I knew that it was a mistake. But I was so disappointed and angry that I didn't even care. So for the next few days, I stomped around my room and I was rude to my parents and especially to my sister. And I was just generally as miserable as I could possibly be. Not just because I was mad, but also because I was worried about what Santa might do when he got that letter. I didn't have long to wait. On the morning before Christmas, another letter arrived from Santa. And this one was brief and to the point. It said,
Jimmy, threatening Santa is a good way to get a permanent spot on the naughty list. Be happy for what you have and be nicer to your sister. I'm going to give you one more chance to be a good boy, so don't blow it.
And I should have listened, and I should have just let it go, but I was just a little kid, and I wanted that puppy so much, and I was so upset that I came up with a plan that seemed like a good idea at the time. But looking back, it was a mistake that would change my life forever. On Christmas Eve, when my parents and sister were fast asleep, I crept downstairs and hid under the kitchen table. It was so quiet and so still that I almost fell asleep. But eventually I heard the soft jingle of sleigh bells and the muffled sound of reindeer hooves on the roof. A moment later, old Saint Nick himself dropped down the chimney. I watched as he silently crept around the house, filling stockings and placing brightly wrapped presents under the tree. When he was done, he tiptoed into the kitchen and sat down at the table to enjoy the milk and cookies my sister had left out for him. He sat right in front of the spot where I was hiding, right where I knew he would be. So that was when I made my move. I reached for a long strand of silver Christmas garland that I had tucked into my backpack, and before Santa knew what was happening, I had quickly wrapped it around and around his ankles. Then I burst out from beneath the table with a loud, "Ha ha!" Santa was shocked. He spilled his milk and dropped his cookies and tried to jump up to his feet, but the garland tripped him up and he toppled over with a loud thump. In the dim glow of the Christmas tree lights, I could see Santa rolling around on the floor. He was trying desperately to free his legs and wondering what in the world was going on. "Santa, where's my puppy?" I shouted. Santa squinted in the gloom and said,
"Jimmy, is that you? Why, I told you that you couldn't have a puppy because of your sister's allergies."
"I want my puppy! Where's my puppy?" I yelled as I jumped up and down. Santa frowned and said,
"I don't have a puppy for you, Jimmy, but I brought you a nice train set. You should be thankful for that."
"I don't want a stupid train set," I bellowed. "I want my puppy!" Santa raised his voice, ever so slightly, but just enough to let me know that he was serious, and said,
"Jimmy, I don't know how else to tell you this, but there's no puppy coming. Now please stop this foolishness and help Santa up."
And that was when I did it. That was when I did the naughtiest, most despicable, most unforgivable thing of all. The thing that got me a permanent spot on the naughty list. Instead of helping Santa up, I reached into my backpack and pulled out a small spray bottle. I pointed it at Santa's face and pulled the trigger. He put up his hands to block the spray, but it was too late. Sputtering and coughing, Santa said,
"Jimmy, I can't believe you'd spray Santa with water on Christmas Eve."
I snickered, and with a dreadful grin I said, "Oh yeah? Well, guess what? It's not water, Santa. It's hair remover." Santa's eyes became very wide, and he reached for his sopping wet beard, only to come away with a handful of white hair.
"My beard!"
he cried as he let the damp hair fall through his fingers.
"My lovely festive beard!"
I threw my arms in the air in a triumphant sign of victory and cackled, "Yes! See? That's what you get for not giving me a puppy." While Santa struggled to free himself from the garland, I opened the kitchen door and ran outside. I pulled a firecracker from my backpack, lit it, and threw it up onto my roof. There was a loud pop, and then frightened reindeer suddenly burst from the top of the house, towing a sled packed full of presents behind them. Still tripping over the bits of garland, Santa came stumbling out through the door and pleaded,
"Dasher, Dancer, Prancer, Vixen, come back! Come back!"
But the silhouette of the reindeer faded from sight and eventually disappeared. Huffing and puffing, Santa bent over to catch his breath. Then he turned very slowly to face me. Thanks to the hair remover, he now had only one white eyebrow and half a white beard. His cheeks blazed a bright red as he furrowed his single brow and said,
"You are by far the naughtiest boy I have ever known."
I stuck my tongue out at him and said, "Eat this, Santa!" Then I hit him square in the forehead with a snowball and ran away giggling. And that was the last I saw of Santa Claus. I denied it, of course, and no one knew what I had done, but as the day progressed I started feeling more and more guilty, especially when I opened the train set that Santa had left for me. It was really cool, but I didn't have the heart to play with it. Every Christmas after that was pretty much the same. Santa came for my sister, but not for me. I still got gifts from my parents, but it just wasn't the same. And of course, I never got a puppy. And every year I felt worse and worse about what I had done. It took a long time for me to get up the courage to write Santa, but when I did, this is what I wrote. Dear Santa, I wanted to apologize for the awful things I did to you almost 15 years ago. I was a naughty, selfish brat then, and my behavior was inexcusable. I'm a grown man now, and I've changed a lot. I hope that you can forgive me. I realize that it's too late for you to bring me the puppy I wanted when I was a kid, but maybe you'd consider taking me off the naughty list this year. I'll understand if that's not possible. Again, I'm so sorry. Signed, Jimmy. I didn't get a letter back, so I had no idea whether or not Santa had accepted my apology. On Christmas Eve, I lay in my bed tossing and turning until, after a few hours of restless sleep, I awoke suddenly to a faint and unfamiliar scratching sound coming from somewhere in my apartment. I pulled on my robe and slippers and tread softly out into the living room, squinting in the faint light cast by the Christmas tree bulbs. My heart nearly stopped when I looked beneath the tree and saw the cutest, fuzziest, furriest little puppy staring up at me. It was small and brown and had floppy ears and a constantly wagging tail. And it was absolutely, positively adorable. I scooped the puppy up in my arms and said, "Puppy, I love you. Santa forgave me. Oh, thank you, Santa. Thank you. Christmas is saved." I gave the puppy a big hug and he squirmed a bit in my arms, so I set him down. "What's wrong, little buddy?" I cooed to the puppy. "Isms feeling a little bit hungry? Doesums need to go outside for a pee-pee?" Then the strangest thing happened. My adorable little puppy stood up straight on his hind legs. Then, with a loud zipping sound, the puppy costume fell away to reveal a rather angry and unpleasant-looking elf hiding inside.
It wasn't a puppy at all. It was a miserable little elf disguised as a puppy.
"What's going on?" I cried. "Where's my puppy?" The elf sneered up at me, and then he kicked me in the shin so hard that I toppled backward in pain.
"That's for being mean to Santa,"
the elf yelled. He set down a small brightly wrapped box at my feet, then turned and stomped away. Rubbing at my aching leg, I picked up the little package and inspected it. It was far too small to contain a puppy, and it made no noise at all when I shook it. I quickly unwrapped it and found inside a small folded piece of paper containing a handwritten note. The note read,
Dear Jimmy, you weren't the first little boy to try to prank Santa Claus, but you were certainly the naughtiest. I'll have you know it took me almost 2 years to grow my beard and eyebrows back, and in the meantime I had to wear a cheap department store Santa beard which was itchy and uncomfortable. Mrs. Claus couldn't look at me without laughing, and the elves found my lack of eyebrows disturbing. At any rate, I've considered your apology, and now that I've pranked you back, we can consider this matter settled. As per your request, you have been removed from the naughty list. You now have a whole year to show me just how nice you really are. Merry Christmas, signed Santa. P.S. You're a grown man now with your own home. Why don't you just buy your own puppy, for goodness sake?
I folded up the note and sat there on the floor and tried to take in everything that had just happened. I was off the naughty list. And that was a good thing, right? And yeah, he had a point. I could have bought my own puppy. It wasn't as good as getting one from Santa, but still, I wasn't sure why I hadn't thought of that before. My heart swam at the possibility of what my new life on the nice list would be like. Just then I heard the jingling of sleigh bells, so close that they had to be just outside. I threw open the window and shouted, "Santa! Merry Christmas to you! Merry Christmas, Santa!" There, hovering above the ground in his magical sleigh, was Santa Claus. He had a wide, jolly grin on his face, and in one hand he held a big, drippy snowball. I knew what was coming next.
Eat this, Jimmy,
shouted Santa. Pow! The snowball hit me right in the face. Bits of slush went up my nose and made me cough and sputter and groan. I wiped my eyes with the sleeve of my robe and cleared my vision just in time to see Santa and his team of flying reindeer soar off into the starry night sky. His voice was booming as he called out,
Merry Christmas to all, and to all a good night, especially you, Jimmy, because now we're even. Ho, 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 ho.
As I watched him disappear over the rooftops, I wiped a bit of melted snow from my forehead and thought to myself, well, maybe being on the nice list isn't all that important. Written and read by Shan McFadden. Music by Audionautics.com.